Now, BRICS nations have united in their call against Israeli actions in Gaza. While the chair, South Africa, is calling it a genocide, Saudi Crown Prince has urged the world to stop exporting weapons to Israel, while Xi Jinping called for an immediate ceasefire. Let me tell you in detail about the developments at the extraordinary summit of the BRICS group of nations. At the virtual meeting of BRICS, a group of major emerging economies that includes Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa drew a common response on the Israel-Hamas war. Member nations called for an immediate humanitarian truce in Gaza, leading to cessation of hostilities, as well as the release of all hostages. As the war enters its 7th week with civilian casualties in Gaza mounting, the BRICS group is set to expand next year with inclusion of Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina and the United Arab Emirates. Now, taking a strong stand against Israel, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa accused it of committing war crimes and genocide in Gaza.
Punishment of Palestinian civilians through the unlawful use of force by Israel is a war crime. The deliberate denial of medicine, fuel, food and water to the residents of Gaza is tantamount to genocide.
Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman called on all countries to stop exporting weapons to Israel. And during this extraordinary summit, attending the virtual summit, Russian President Vladimir Putin called for a political solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict, while blaming the Middle East crisis on the failure of US diplomacy in the region.
Прекращение огня и поиск политического разрешения палестино-израильского конфликта. И ключевую роль в этой работе могли бы сыграть государства БРИКС и страны региона.
Chinese President Xi Jinping called for the release of civilian detainees and an immediate ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas. India was represented by its External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. He reiterated India's long-standing policy that Palestinian concerns must be addressed and that a two-state solution is the only answer to the difficulties in the region.
We believe that the concerns of the Palestinian people must be addressed in a serious and sustainable manner. This can only happen with a two-state solution that is based on peaceful coexistence. We have been consistently supportive of international efforts towards this end. Excellencies, over the years, India has supported the socio-economic welfare of the Palestinian people and strengthening of their national institutions. Our development partnership is geared towards these objectives.
Listen in to WION's Kalden Ongmu, who has been tracking all of the developments from Johannesburg.
BRICS leaders in the joint statement on Tuesday condemned any kind of individual or mass forcible transfer and deportation of Palestinians from their own land. They condemned indiscriminate attacks and targeting of civilian infrastructure, as well as acts of provocation and incitement. The leaders emphasized that civilians must be protected. They also reiterated calls for strong support for regional and international efforts aimed at achieving an immediate cessation of hostilities and provision of humanitarian aid. The group reaffirmed that a just and lasting solution to Israel-Palestine conflict can only be achieved by peaceful means and called for an immediate and unconditional release of all civilians who are being illegally held captive. The meeting also called for independent and transparent investigations to be conducted in accordance with international standards. This is Kalden Ongmu from Johannesburg, South Africa for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.